Hello and welcome to episode 260, a nice even number of Sutton Impact Family Style. I'm Jason.
I'm Bill, and I'm a peacock.
Yeah.
I have loved watching St. Peter's. Great story about the coach. Do you know the coach won the MVP in the McDonald's Classic over Kobe Bryant?
I did not know that.
Yes. And then he turned down, he had all kind of scholarship offers, but he decided to go to Seton Hall because that was his home.
Yeah.
And then he got hurt and ended his career.
Oh.
And guess how much money he's making right now as the head coach of St. Peter's?
$62,000 a year.
No, $266,000.
Okay, then I don't feel really bad for him.
But they say that he's probably going to get an offer from Seton Hall for 10 times that. And that's his alma mater.
Oh,
and it's in Jersey.
Yeah, I mean,
You know, he's got it. It's one of those things, I always hate to see the guy go,
right.
but he's in the whole athletic department budget is like I forget what it's a ridiculous number. It doesn't count coaches' salaries, and I don't think it's $1 million. Excluding coaches' salaries, I think the budget for all the athletics is less than $1 million.
Yeah, and if you're him, you're never going to be hotter right now. And the odds of you getting another team like this that's already broken just about every. I mean, a 15 seed beating a number 2 team in Kentucky, going on the run you've gone, and you're the only 15 seed to ever make the Elite Eight as of right this moment we're talking about. Like, yeah. And again, if it means
a great quote. The quote was, "Were your guys afraid?" And he goes, "They're from New York City and Jersey City. They're not afraid of nothing."
And they play tenacious, scrappy defense. They're getting in passing lanes.
They're very disruptive. They hound people, which is what they need to do. I mean, they really are disruptive.
And not that, I mean, their run is already historic. As we said, they're the only team that's ever been a 15 seed to get to Elite Eight. But if they make the Final Four beating beating Kentucky and then UNC, North Carolina in the same year, that's just crazy.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Just incredible.
Because it's not like they had one of those ones where they ended up, there's upsets all over and they keep sneaking by everybody. Like, they've gone through everybody. Because Murray State was a good team, and so was Purdue.
Yeah.
I mean,
one of the other interesting stats was that the endowment for the entire St. Peter's University,
yeah.
is less than John Calipari's contract.
Wow.
They've had the stats are amazing. I mean, you can't believe this. And then I love the fact when they cut to the gym and they show all those kids in the gym, like this is their biggest moment in the history in athletics and university and everything. It's just awesome. And I tell people all the time, I saw them play the last time where they were in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
And the mascot wore a shower curtain that was painted like a peacock. And now they actually have a costume for the mascot. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like the fact where they've gone. I like the fact, and I hope they can win another one.
Yeah, because the Final Four just feels enormous. That's like I mean, the Elite Eight is already a championship for. I mean, they'll be talking about the year they went to the Elite Eight for everybody that in that class in that school.
Yeah.
They've set the bar, but a Final Four appearance would just take it to a whole other level.
Oh, it would be so awesome.
And
I'd be so happy for them.
Yeah, we talked about how much we both like North Carolina, but I much want to see St. Pete win.
And I did enjoy the North Carolina UCLA game. That was two of my favorite schools ever playing, and I enjoyed the game. I felt really bad for UCLA.
Yeah.
And I was rooting for UCLA even because I liked that team from last year, and I would have liked to have seen them go. I like the fact they came back to play together again. We'll see.
Well, I guess we have to mention the teams that are in the Final Four currently.
Yes, we do. Duke is in, and it seems like they're playing much better since they lost to North Carolina on Coach K's last game.
They are.
They're getting more rebounding, better guard play. They're better defensively. They're playing well, and I don't want to see them win.
No.
And that could be wrong. I mean, as Coach K's last year, I don't care. I don't want to see them win.
No.
I was going on record saying I don't want to see them win. And people can take that for if I'm a Duke hater or whatever it is, because I probably am. But I don't want to see them win. I would rather see somebody else win.
I've famously been a Duke hater, but at the same time, I definitely don't. I mean, we've had enough Coach K stuff, and some of the. I'll just leave it at that. Sometimes it feels like he's playing. He's on the side.
I'm enjoying watching Villanova.
Yeah, but as you pointed out, Villanova may have lost another player for the next game, which is a real bummer.
Hopefully not. Hopefully he'll be out. Hopefully he's got a week to recover. Hopefully he can recover. It didn't look good when he left the court last night. He was limping pretty badly.
It's true, but you never know. Sometimes you limp really badly, then all of a sudden you shake it off.
So we got Duke. We got Villanova. I'm assuming we're going to have Kansas.
Yeah.
I think I saw a stat Miami didn't have any fast break points, and that's not like Miami.
No. And if we end up with a Final Four that's Kansas, Duke, North Carolina, and Villanova, that sounds like that could have been the Final Four for the last 30 years.
Yeah.
If you were predicting it.
There's only one number one seed left. So
it's true.
That's just something. But I'm hoping St. Peter's gets in, and if they get in, the ratings will be phenomenal. I mean, they're already really, really good. But if they made the Final Four, those ratings would be astronomical. It'd be like when Loyola made the Final Four.
Oh, yeah. Well, as we transition to big boy basketball, what did you think of, obviously Gonzaga lost, but what do you think of Chet Holmgren as a pro?
No. Although I think he got robbed in that game. I thought they made some ridiculously poor officiating calls on him. I mean, if you say there's a principle of verticality and then you call a foul, that's just wrong. And I mean, I thought of his 5 fouls, I thought 3 were legit.
Yeah. And the fourth one was...
He's not developed enough to go in the pros next year. No way.
No. And I know I give him credit because he's obviously got a high basketball IQ. He seems to make plays on both ends of the floor. Like, he's not a bad shot blocker. He's a decent rebounder.
He can run the court.
He can run the court. He can pass. It's hard to look. I mean, I'm biased because when I look at him, I look at the skinny, hunched over shoulders, and that never looks great,
He reminds me physically of Sean Bradley.
Yeah, I think he reminds a lot of people, and I think that's what's scaring a lot of people off.
And I think that he needs another year or two. I think he needs to hit the weight room. I think he needs to build up his body. I think he just get beat up to death in the pros.
And I think everybody in the NBA would be salivating to make him a dunk poster.
Yeah, I think so too.
I mean, not that they don't think about that for everybody, but I think people would really like to do it to Chet Holmgren. For good or reason. I mean, good reason or not reason. I just think that could be in his future, and that's not something you want to see. And my prediction, and this is sad, but you know who he seems like he's going to end up on?
Who?
Orlando.
The Knicks. Oh, Orlando?
Yeah. He looks like another really big, Jonathan Isaac, Mo Bamba, go down the list of last 10, 15 years of Magic draft picks of, tantalizing, slightly underdeveloped skill that just doesn't seem to get, that goes to Orlando to just rot on the vine for some reason.
Well, I just switched to the game. Miami's up 24-23 with 6 minutes left in the first half.
Yeah, it's a claw and a scratch game. I think sometimes, I think with St. Mary's, with as scrappy as they are, Miami, I mean, we obviously saw the officiating in the Gonzaga game. Like, you hate to blame officiating, but it's sometimes like if your style doesn't match up with the other style. Because Arkansas said they were going after, they were going after Chet. They were going to just go after Gonzaga and just beat him the crap up, And
they did.
And they did.
And I mean, and they got him in foul trouble and a replay game. I mean, Timmy had a phenomenal game.
Yeah.
I love Timmy. Timmy would be a good pro. He'll be like, Timmy reminds me of Bill Walton.
Okay.
Passer, good rebounder, smart ball player, physical enough.
Physical enough. Yeah. But as we stick with the NBA, how about Kyrie getting to play home games now?
Well, you quoted the source. The bad guys win. I mean, it just he stayed out. He got paid. He got what he wanted, and I just don't think it's right. And I have no sympathy for anti-vaxxers to begin with, but I have no sympathy. I have no love for Kyrie, and I have no love for this decision. I mean, I thought it was I thought either everybody that wasn't vaxxed shouldn't play in New York or New Jersey. That would have been the best way to do it. And I could see where there was some support for Kyrie because it looked like he was singled out.
It
But
did.
I thought it should have been every player that on any team that wasn't vaxxed shouldn't play.
Do you know what Tony Kornheiser's conspiracy on the vax thing is?
What?
That the reason it went through has nothing to do with Kyrie, Kevin Durant, the Nets, or the Knicks. It has to do with the big sports team in New York.
The Yankees.
Yeah. That's a, there's so many deep-hearted money people that are Yankee people, and they did not want to see Yankee home games suffer from the vax mandate.
I don't dispute that.
Yeah.
I mean, the timing seems to reflect it. Right before baseball season starts.
And it's definitely a baseball season that would not need that on top of everything else.
No. But then I don't know how many Yankees aren't back, so I have no idea.
No, I have no idea either. But on the basketball court, Kyrie's a magician.
Yep.
And with he and Kyrie out there healthy, or KD out there healthy, like they're scary. I would not want to touch them if I was another team.
No, they're going to be. I think they make. They're definitely in the playing game. I'm not worried about that. I definitely think they win the next series, and I would not be surprised if they got to the conference finals. But there are a number of teams playing really, really well right now.
There are.
In the East. I mean, Boston, as we point out every week, you can't overlook them. I mean, they're playing really, really well.
Yeah, and the only thing you can hold against them is they've had the last 2 seasons have been slightly disappointing. But,
I think there's 4 teams within 2 games of the top spot.
We talked off air about our Milwaukee Bucks who got crushed last night by the John Morantless Memphis Grizzlies, but Milwaukee's still playing really well.
Milwaukee's playing really well. Phoenix playing really well. Golden State's not playing well.
Not at all.
Denver's playing well. Dallas is playing well.
Philly's playing up and down.
Yeah, they seem to get hot again now after we were criticizing them last week.
They're hot when they don't play good teams, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, James Harden sat out both Miami games, and then he laid an egg in the Brooklyn game. So, and while we're at it, what did you think of the Miami? Did you think there's anything with the Jimmy Butler coach Haslam beef?
Jimmy Butler's his own guy.
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler has not been easy to get along with on any of the teams he's been on.
No.
And, sometimes people say it's because he's so competitive or so this. But Michael Jordan was competitive. He didn't get any fistfights.
No.
So I don't know what you want to say there. It's just, it's different. I like Jimmy Butler as a player. I think he brings a lot to the game. I think he's exciting to watch. But, I don't know if Jimmy Butler's a great teammate. He's been Chicago, Minnesota, Philadelphia, Miami?
Yeah.
And usually a player that's that good doesn't play on 4 teams unless you're James Harden and you force your way out.
Exactly. And he may be really competitive, but that doesn't mean he's not also an asshole,
True. Did you see Andre Drummond last night?
I did.
What did you think of that?
It was something.
It was enjoyable to watch. Describe it for our listeners.
Oh, that's all you. You go take this one.
So he flashed the Tyreek Hill sign, the peace sign, as he was going in for a layup on a fast break, or I guess I really can't call it a fast break. I guess I'll call it an open break where they didn't pursue him.
Yes.
He went to the hoop. That's what I'll say. But he did flash like Tyreek did for his touchdown. So it was kind of funny.
Yeah.
To see a man that large do that.
It was indeed.
Yeah.
And I guess we should have a moment for the next few weeks, we can have our MVP watch. Who you got?
He's not going to get it. But I would vote for John Morant.
Okay.
Because that team, nobody would have picked that team to finish second in the West. Nobody.
No.
At the beginning of the year. There's no way. And they are. So I just got to say, he would be the guy. I think he's had the most impact on his team this year. And other teams that are good, that were expected to be good, or, I understand that. But this is, like I said, nobody would pick them to finish second. And he's finished second. And he's had an effect on the business. I mean, he's the draw. He sells out wherever he goes. I mean, come on. I mean, he's my MVP.
I got to go back to back for the Joker. He's
Yeah,
he's
I
got
know.
he's
I
playing
watched him
with
again last night with one eye, and he was awesome last night.
he's got clowns on his squad. Like his two best teammates have been out the entire season. Everybody knows that he's basically the point guard center. Like he leads the team in rebounds, assists, scoring, and he's just phenomenal. And his brothers are a delight from an entertainment standpoint.
Yeah.
Like they could have their own reality show, just the Joker family, you know?
There's an element in the MVP, though, of popularity
Yeah.
and appeal. And I think that's where he's lacking. The fact he won it already, it would be difficult to see him get it again. I don't think that will happen.
Especially because I feel like I mean, maybe this is like my Coach K anti-ness. I think there's an anti-Joker thing where it's like, you can't deny the stats. You can't deny how much he wins. But
Not at all.
I don't think people like him. And not in a personality way.
I don't think they dislike him. I just think it's like almost like he played for the Spurs.
Yeah.
When the Spurs were good. You just ignore him. That's what I would say it is. You ignore him. You take for granted he's going to go out there, he's good, but he doesn't have that sex appeal that you say, wow, I got to go watch him.
And I think it's the physical sex appeal. Like, I don't think people like thinking this is what an MVP looks like.
Dad bod.
I mean, he's way less chubby than he used to be, but he's still got the dad bod, the buzz cut. Like, again, a wizard with the ball, and Stephen A. likes to always yell when he's screaming, and it's on in the office from time to time. Like, he probably couldn't jump over a curb, but
He doesn't have to, though.
he just gets it done. Like, he's easily one of the best passers in the NBA. And again, like I said, he's
a guy that you criticize him for what he can't do, but when you look at what he can do, it's so much more than what he can't do.
and his defense is even better this year than it was last year when he won the MVP.
Yeah, did you see highlights last night with the bad eye?
With the bad eye and everything, yeah.
Didn't slow him down. I mean,
No.
I can't argue with your choice. I just don't think he'll win because of all the reasons we just said.
And then probably my next pick would probably be Giannis, but I think Giannis has already got the two-time MVP, the Finals MVP, and I think people are bored with him. He's only putting
part
up.
of it too.
Yeah, I mean he's got the
Michael
team.
Jordan could have won the MVP award every year,
Yeah,
and LeBron could win the MVP award every year.
it's true. It's not great that it happens that way, but it seems to happen that way.
Yeah, for sure.
And you brought up Tyreek. I guess that's a perfect transition to more Tyreek Hill traded.
Traded because he wanted to be the highest paid wide receiver. I don't think he did something that's good for his career. You leave Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah,
I don't think it's a good move. He wanted the money. He wanted to be the highest paid receiver, and he is for now. You see. And, I mean, there seems to be a lot of that going on in the NFL right now.
yeah, it's true. Was people pointed out, like with quarterback, like if you're a top quarterback, whether it's you believe top 5, top 8, whatever it is, there is a huge drop off to the next level and then the last third of the league as far as starters go, right? Mm-hmm. You could argue there's maybe 10 quarterbacks you would trust to win a Super Bowl, 10 if everything in the world goes right with the rest of the team could, and then 12 that have no shot. Whereas with the receiver, whether you're talking about Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, there's a rookie that comes in every year, puts up insane stats. And then the drop, when like Cooper Kupp did the Triple Crown this year. And, you got DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett. You go through the list, and all of a sudden you're like, there's 25, 30 guys that could, in the right circumstances, could lead the NFL in receiving touchdowns.
The question is Tua going to be able to get him the ball like Patrick Mahomes can get him the ball?
I don't think that's even close because Mahomes and Tua's arms are, it's like me throwing lefty, me throwing righty. Like, it's just not.
That's what I'm saying. So, I mean, they're going to pay you all this money, and you're not going to perform like you did in Kansas City. And that's my prediction on the show right now, that his stats in Miami next year aren't anywhere near what he did in Kansas City.
And what I like that Kansas City did, and I've criticized our Steelers for not doing this, is I feel like the people running the Chiefs understand where they're at in the window, and that you can't stay at peak the entire time. Like what New England did, and even New England like dropped off for a couple years, popped back up. You can't stay at the top. Like you've got to eventually be like, let's cut our losses, let's get rid of some of the dead weight now. Let's re-up. We got Patrick Mahomes. We can have a year or two with less talent. We'll build that back up to the draft, and then we'll go again.
Yeah, it's clearly you can invest in Patrick Mahomes. Just like Green Bay invested in Aaron Rodgers and let Devontae Adams go.
Yeah.
You can't have two guys that take up the majority of your salary cap. Can't do it.
And as we talked about.
So, yeah, you have to let Tyreek go, and that's fine. I mean, I just don't think he's going to be all that in Miami. And I think Patrick Mahomes will make anybody that you put out there better than they are. Now, they're going to be as fast. There's a lot of 4-3 receivers in this draft.
Yeah.
There's a lot of 4-3 receivers, so let's see what happens.
And as people pointed out, as fast as Tyreek is, like they said, he's been a little slow. I mean, according to analytics, so take that for whatever you want to believe it. But he's been a little bit slower off the blocks and in his breaks lately. And we talked about guys like Allen Iverson and Russell Westbrook, like guys that are so dependent on what they are as an athlete, being faster than everybody. I think Tyreek Hill might fall into that category, where like I don't see him having a super long career. And as he gets closer to 30, maybe if you're the Chiefs, like maybe you'd want him at that price for the next year or two, but you don't want him that for 5 years, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And if you can get a first, a second, a third, and 2 fourths, and a sixth in a wide receiver heavy draft, I think you go with it, you know?
I think you go with it too. And I think, but I also think there's going to be some guys that are still out there that could end up in Kansas City.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they now have some capital.
Yeah.
Because in where there's smoke, there's fire sort of situation. DK Metcalf, who I think is been in the league 3 years. And he's about to go into his 4th year. He was a second-round pick, which means he's a free agent after next season. DK Metcalf is going to want DK Metcalf kind of money. And maybe if you're the Seahawks, no quarterback, you're in a rebuild. Maybe you could get a package like the Devontae Adams package or the Tyreek Hill package. Maybe now's the time you move on.
Yeah, I agree.
Because again,
we're not done moving high-priced superstars in the NFL yet.
No, this is crazy though. This season has been like watching, like a Madden league on video games.
Yeah,
as far as like
anything that could happen happened.
Yeah, you'd be like, no one's going to trade Russell Wilson. And, all these quarterbacks moving, Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, like that's what happens in video games, not in real life. But now it's real life, so.
Yeah. It's been wild. I mean, it's been incredible.
Yeah. And I think you make the Tyreek Hill trade if you were a team like the Packers or maybe, who else? They wouldn't trade him to the Chargers, but the Chargers, the Rams, like those are the teams that it makes sense. I also feel like the Dolphins are not, I know they got 2 on a rookie deal and you've got some cap space and you got some picks coming up, so you're probably going to be okay. But Tyreek Hill feels like the move you make when you're a player away.
I agree.
Not when you're maybe the favorites for your own division. You're not even the favorites in your own division because you got the Bills there.
No.
But
no.
It's been interesting. Lots of stuff to talk about.
It's going to be an interesting story to watch. That's what it's going to be.
Yeah. Well, I guess we can shift to our
draft all that more exciting.
Which brings up our Steeler Minute. I did watch your boy Mason Rudolph on Rich Eisen.
Okay.
Do you know his brother is in a Lifetime movie where he plays a newscaster and he's trying to make it in Hollywood?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I thought, considering what's happened in the last year, he was very professional on the show. He said he's looking forward to the competition. But when all the talk is about which free agent quarterback we can bring in, which quarterback we can draft, and all your teammates being excited about the organization doing something at the quarterback position, that can't be a very comfortable position for you. And I think he's handled that well. That's my one Mason Rudolph compliment for you, Dad.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think, he's got to handle it that way. I don't think he has a choice. He's got to be seething on the inside because he's been sitting there waiting for his chance. It appears that he's not going to get it. It's not going to be a fair competition. It's not going to be a competition unless Trubisky really just falls flat or gets hurt.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just from, like I said, his teammates the teammates were supporting somebody from the outside coming in. The organization's been talking about it. And you listen to Tomlin, like Tomlin wants an athlete at the quarterback position. He clearly wants somebody that is a threat to run the football.
Yeah.
And apparently he had dinner with Malik Willis. He's all about Malik Willis. But apparently Malik Willis could be gone as soon as pick 2 at this point now.
Well, I would not expect him to go past Seattle.
No.
And if somebody really wants him, they would make a trade up to get past him. But I just don't think, you can't have it both ways. Either this is not a good quarterback draft or this is an unbelievable quarterback draft. Which is it?
Yeah. Well, it's like every year, even the year that A.J. Manuel went to the Bills at the 16th pick, like you eventually talk yourself into it. But Malik Willis has as much raw physical talent as any first-round pick.
Yeah.
In any draft.
Yeah.
But, he hasn't shown it on the field that he's got, the goods. Kenny Pickett, I just feel like his ceiling is just not high enough to draft that high, And in my Steeler position, I don't think Kenny Pickett is a significant upgrade over a Mason Rudolph, Dwayne Haskins, Mitchell Trubisky combo. I'm not saying he couldn't be a slightly better quarterback. I just don't think he's I don't think he's the one that puts you over, Like if you're drafted,
I agree.
If I'm the Steelers, if I don't believe the quarterback can be a Herbert, Mahomes, Allen level quarterback, I'm not touching him.
Well, you've got to have somebody that level if you're going to compete in that division.
Exactly, because that doesn't even include Burrow, Lamar, maybe Trevor Lawrence, the greatest quarterback prospect since Andrew Luck, who played under a horrible coach. And I guess we can talk a little bit about that too. Have you seen all the stuff that's come out about Urban Meyer?
Yeah, unbelievable.
It's hard to imagine somebody like that succeeding, I guess. It isn't when you look at the people in our government or whatever, but like in a situation
whenever he's gone to a college campus, he's been God right away.
Yeah.
All right, now he steps into something that's a little bit different, and he didn't adjust. He didn't adjust.
No, but I feel like if you're I realize like when you're on a college campus, like every kid in that locker room, whether they like you or hate you, they need you to help get them to the next level, and they can't really uprise against you, But he definitely seems like et tu brute, like, there'd be people waiting to stab him in the back the second they could with the way he treats people.
Yeah. But also remember, Nick Saban flamed out as a pro coach.
He did, but his was more...
Not to this degree.
And not for kicking a kicker and telling people that, putting down everybody in the organization, calling them stupid. Like, his behavior just seems like abhorrent. Like, it's just as a human being. Like, not incompetent, like a Matt Nagy, but just a giant asshole.
Well, and arrogant and stupid because of the dancing thing and everything else that went on with it, too.
Yeah.
And just, he's a guy that I almost thought he was like the Pope, infallible. That he could do whatever he wanted. It was going to work out because he was who he is. And that just didn't happen.
No, but when you consider at least part of the coaching job, like you look at Tomlin, like for all the criticism he takes, like you can't deny that that's the kind of person you'd be happy to have as your face of your franchise, He certainly seems like a leader of men, if you will. Like, I don't think Tomlin would ever kick anybody or tell somebody they'd be lucky to make $15 an hour. Without him as the coach, they'd be in the streets. Like, I don't think he would ever say that. I don't think most coaches would say that. Like, but, he's gone, so I guess that's good.
So, do you want to float out your latest guy you think the Steelers should take at number 20?
Well, I'm big on wide receiver for the Steelers at 20. I just think no matter who the quarterback is, and we'll assume it's an open competition, you have 2 receivers with experience on your roster. One, Deontay Johnson, who, as exciting as he can be, still seems to have a bit of the drops. And Chase Claypool, who, I don't know, what do you think of Chase Claypool?
Inconsistent and erratic, but should be much better than he is.
Because he makes some plays that you're just like, he's as good as any receiver in the NFL.
But he doesn't make them consistently.
Does not make them.
He takes plays off, obviously.
Yeah. And then there's time on those 50-50 balls where you're like, okay, this is why we got the 6'4" Mapletron from Canada. And he just doesn't come down with the ball. So, and as much as I like Freiermuth and I love Najee Harris, and I think the offensive line moves they made, like, I think they need a receiver. I really do.
Yeah.
And then if not, I really like Dax Hill out of Michigan for the secondary. And on the secondary point, like I know they have 18 million in cap space right now, and I think they need Terrell Edmonds is still a free agent, not on the Steelers right now.
Right.
And I keep seeing all the Tyreek Matthews rumors, the Honey Badger, but I don't really want that.
That's not happening.
No. Again, he's on the wrong. Because you look at all the Steelers moves they've made. Like, I think Trubisky is the oldest player they brought in, and he's 27. And Tyreek Hill, I think, is 31. Like, I think they're not rebuilding in the sense of we're letting everybody know we're rebuilding, but I think they're addressing the fact that they need to keep this team young and that maybe this next year will not be their year to win a Super Bowl.
All right, now I'm going to switch to entertainment.
Okay.
So, you've seen some of these movies.
I have.
Is there anything you would tell me that I need to go see?
I think I made this point off the air, or yeah, we were talking on the phone, but Power of the Dog, which is one of the Oscar favorites, you have what I consider a best actor acting performance, like a truly great actor in Benedict Cumberbatch's performance. It's amazing. Even watching it on my 60-inch TV and not in the theater, like the cinematography, the art direction, all those things are there in Power of the Dog. But I have not met one person that did not say it's boring as shit. And I have to agree with that. Like, it's like watching paint dry. So, it's the kind of movie that the Oscars love because it technically does all the things right. But I think I made the comparison to, like, you know, people saying anchovies is the best pizza topping. Like, at some point, like, it's got to be the one that most of the people like at some point. You know, there's got to be some kind of, you know. And I know Coda's gained a lot of ground. And Coda is a very heartwarming, you know, beautiful movie, but from a technical filmmaking standpoint, it doesn't do a lot. It doesn't check all the boxes of an Oscar best, you know, I think if you ask most of the voters all the things they're looking for as far as like technical sound and cinematography, you know, all those things, like Coda doesn't do anything special. And some people in the Oscars are snobby and might say the story is too simplistic and too feel-goody and not realistic. So I think that would be the knock on Coda.
Okay.
I think of the Oscar nominations, I think if you're looking from entertainment on down to the technical aspects, and you look at the fact that it's nominated in almost every technical category, Dune was a really fun movie. But Dune, the problem with Dune to me is just like, you know, I love Lord of the Rings, but Lord of the Rings is a trilogy that you need to watch all three movies. It's one story.
Okay.
And Dune is part of a trilogy where if you watch you don't feel like you've watched a movie when you watch Dune. You feel you watch like a 2-hour setup to an epic tale that's going to go. Like you've set up the chessboard in Dune, and you're excited to play the game, but we're not playing the game yet. If that makes any sense.
Okay. So knowing me, is there anything I want to go see?
Huh. I've come around on a few things from a movie snob standpoint, as you know I used to be as a younger person.
Yes. Yes.
I do think, having seen it, I think Spider-Man should have been nominated.
Okay.
I'm not saying it should win, but like, you know, if your movie captures the vast majority of people saying it's their favorite movie of the year, I think there's something to that. And when it also does all the technical aspects well, and it may be, you know, wrapped up in glittery, sparkly Spider-Man paper, like, there's still, I mean, you know, it still contains like one of the, you know, common Shakespearean stories that, you know, you need to have, that you're telling. You know, it captures that. You know, the performances are good. Like, superhero movies aren't, you know,
yeah,
they're not what
there's so many of them.
There's so many of them, yeah. And this one feels like it stands out a little bit more, but yeah. I mean, I think the moment that, I think just based on what the Oscars needs to happen, and again, you know, I won't go into my anti-Will Smith rant, but I think Will Smith will win Best Actor because I think that's what they want they need that moment to make it a television show. And I think he's well liked in the industry too, so.
Okay.
But I mean, I watched Licorice Pizza, like that wasn't Best Picture, but I mean, I watched, you know, Gucci, I watched just about everything this year, and I think it was a much better TV year again.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. Well, I'm going to continue to recommend the Laker thing on HBO. It's been highly entertaining. I don't know how much exaggeration went into it to make it what it is, but it's been highly entertaining. I give it that. And I think I would vote for John C. Reilly to get an Emmy or an Oscar, whatever it would be, for that performance as Jerry Buss. I think he's that good.
He's a really good actor.
He nails this role. So I really like it.
Oh, here's my fun entertainment moment for you.
Okay.
We are in Oscar season, and one of the best actresses on the planet, most beloved actresses, is Olivia Colman, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's on one of my favorite sitcoms of all time, which is Peep Show on the BBC, which is also on Hulu right now, which also stars Mitchell and Webb from the Mitchell and Webb British comedy series. It's about two sort of tragic, very comically tragic roommates, played by David Mitchell and Mr. Webb, and then Olivia Colman plays Sophie, who's his on again, one of the characters on again, off again love interest. But you could see her in a different light, I suppose.
All right. Neither of us have a food moment.
No.
So I will tell everyone that root for St. Peter's.
Yeah.
Let's really have an amazing, amazing, amazing story.
Because it is far and away the best story of the tournament.
I mean, they are the illustration on any given day. I just want today to be another given day.
Yeah.
If they make the Final Four, that would be just unbelievable.
Was the last time Duke won was when they knocked off Butler in the finals and they missed that last second shot to beat Duke?
I think it might have been.
Yeah. I was like, if we get St. Pete versus Duke and then Duke wins on a tiny little, again, it'd be a real bummer.
That would be a bummer.
But I'd still be pumped for St. Pete. So.
All right, everyone. Have a great week. Enjoy your final. I hope you're in the office polls. I hope you still have a team left. I still have what team in the Final Four? I have Villanova. So I'm hoping for half my pool. But I would root against my team, as I did the other day, for St. Peter's.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Have a good week.